Niagara County bragging rights are on the line this afternoon at Hockey Outlet as Starpoint and Niagara Wheatfield meet live on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Hello, I'm Aaron Elpern alongside Ryan Tantalo as we get you ready for puck drop between the Spartans and Falcons. And Ryan, these two teams both play here at Hockey Outlet, so obviously there's going to be a lot of familiarity between both rosters here.
A ton of familiarity, and while the two teams do share this rink tonight, or this afternoon I should say, Niagara Wheatfield is the home team for this crosstown rivalry matchup. Two of the best teams in Section 6 facing off against each other. Starpoint won two of the last three sectional crowns, and they appeared in the state title game last year. Starpoint has a 7-3 record this year, while Niagara Wheatfield holds a 9-2-1 record.
A lot of experience on both lineups. A big reason why they have had such successful seasons so far. And these two neighboring school districts, both senior-rich rosters. Starpoint has 9 seniors on their roster, including the dangerous top line of Justin Bull, Alec Kirk, and Will Mainstone. The Falcons roster, meanwhile, they have 10 seniors, 2 of which are on their top line, Anthony LaGreca and Roman Adamczyk, joined by Robert Wegrin to form a trio that leads what is a very impressive Niagara Wheatfield offense.
Extremely impressive. The Falcons are averaging over 7 goals per game this season. Wegrin has a staggering 36 points in 12 games, 3 per game, and LaGreca isn't far behind with 33 points so far. So those two are second and third among all Section 6 Federation players in points this season.
Starpoint's top players, meanwhile, they don't have maybe the same gaudy stats, but they still need to be respected. 6 players in double figures in points. Justin Bull is 2 points away from 100 as a member of the varsity team. Alec Kirk leads the way with 12 goals and 7 assists for 19 points on the season. And Kirk, as we know, likes big games like this one. He had 18 points in 7 postseason games last year. Obviously, this is one of those games that I don't think he's going to need that extra incentive to get up for.
I certainly think Starpoint's going to come out firing, although they have been off for 10 games. Their last game was a 7-1 win over Hamburg. Kirk and Frankie Cardarella each with 3 goals in that victory. And Niagara Wheatfield's last action was on Wednesday. They defeated Grand Island 5-1. Roman Adamczyk and Adam LaGreca both scored twice as the Falcons won their 3rd straight.
And these are two teams that not only, as we mentioned, have a lot of familiarity with the fact that they both play here in this building, neighboring school districts. The high schools are about 5 miles apart as the crow flies. Two coaches know each other very well. They go back quite a number of years, so they're quite familiar with each other's coaching styles, as well as exactly what to expect from each roster on both sides of the rink today. But I think the one thing that you'll know is that while there's a lot of respect between the two coaching staffs, they also want to win. They also want to. They might be friends, but there's a little bit that's personal here, that wanting to take that victory over your friend like any competitor would, I would imagine.
Certainly, it is almost like a battle for this town or this area, crosstown rivalry, and like you said, personal, between the proximity, the crossover between these regions, and also the fact that the coaches know each other so well. It's going to be a game that both teams certainly want to win today.
Last year, it was an overtime win for Starpoint. 2 years ago, it was a tie between these two sides. Niagara Wheatfield won the meeting before that, so clearly the history shows this is a tight rivalry, and that's certainly what we're expecting here this afternoon. Certainly looking at both teams' records coming into this game. Starpoint with the 7-3 mark, Niagara Wheatfield 9-2-1, both looking at the small school sectional title at the end of the season, at the end of the postseason, as a goal for both sides. And this is a great measuring stick type of game to get an idea of where they stack up. Even though these teams play in different divisions within Section 6, the game does matter in terms of the overall standings and in terms of rankings, and might be a bit of a preview of another matchup that might be coming in the postseason this year.
Certainly, and looking ahead towards the rest of the season, for whoever wins this game, adding that to your resume is extremely impressive, because both of these teams have such outstanding records and such talent on their roster. The winner of this game is going to carry a lot of momentum towards the postseason.
Both teams can score the puck, that's for certain. Dangerous offenses, and it's the top lines on both of these teams to keep an eye on. Both teams starting with their top lines right here. We're underway from Hockey Outlet. Starpoint and Niagara Wheatfield. Niagara County rivalry is underway, and already some hitting off the early going. An offsides call as Roman Adamczyk made sure he finished his check there in the offensive zone. The puck came back across the blue line and then back in offside. So just 8 seconds into the action, already a face-off going to be coming right at center ice.
And Adam Schick set the tone there early with that hit. Only 8 seconds in, already physical.
Loose puck in the neutral zone, dumped into the offensive end by Idzik for Niagara Wheatfield. Starpoint finding possession, now trying to work it out on the near side. Dominic Lubert there in the corner, loses control of it. It comes back to the point. Idzik shot blocked on the way through. Aiden Case getting a skate on that one, and then the clear into the neutral zone. Bouncing puck, Dominic Lubert almost picked that one up, but he has to retreat back to his defensive position now as a couple of players from each side try to dig a puck free against the near boards. Finally comes to the point. Kaiser makes sure it stays in the zone. Now around to the other side, Aiden Case looking to start the breakout for Starpoint. Nice pass by Justin Boley, finds Alec Kirk in the neutral zone. 3-on-2 into the offensive end. Kirk tries to take the shot through a screen, but Idzik getting in the way of that one, making sure it doesn't get in on net. Puck is knocked down with a high stick there. Almost found that far corner. Obviously, that wouldn't have counted, but good hand-eye coordination to knock that one down on a midair. Niagara Wheatfield now into the offensive zone, dumping it in off the back glass, and now it's ending up on the back of the net. Niagara Wheatfield completing a change, so Starpoint with plenty of time to work it up the far side, through the neutral zone and into the Falcons' territory, where it's going to be Jacob Smith picking it up. That pass doesn't quite connect, but eventually finds Evan Belcher on the near side. Lifts a backhand through the neutral zone. Starpoint now looking to regroup along their own blue line. McClellan looking for a pass. He connects on one. He's got Cardarella into the offensive zone. Gets it to Cyric and then back to Cardarella in front. That redirection shot just barely missing. Back through the neutral zone as it comes back down into Starpoint territory. It's going to be an icing on the play. 15:20 to go in first period. Good pace already so far, Ryan. Obviously, these teams have plenty of intensity coming into this rivalry matchup.
And certainly, I wasn't at the last Starpoint game, their win, but 2 times ago when they came out and lost to the Nichols School, I don't think Starpoint really got out with as much energy and pace as they are currently playing with.
I would agree with that assessment. Certainly a lot more jump in their game off the early going here at the outset. This could be an opportunity in the other direction for Niagara Wheatfield, as getting that shot in on goal was Perry. Net comes off, but the netminder for Starpoint, Rich Guru, puts it back into place, and play continues. Bouncing puck here in the offensive zone for Starpoint, almost bounced onto the proper stick for the Spartans' point of view, but ends up being sent right back through the neutral zone, where Case has to pick it up behind his own net. Connects on one pass, but Starpoint unable to get the puck out of the zone, and that could set up for an opportunity in front of the net. Good save there by Rich Guru, as he had a man right in the mid-slot. Good opportunity to let that shot go, as that was Larrabee in the mid-slot. Good save by Guru as he gets the first test for one of the 2 netminders here in the game, as we're under 15 minutes to go in a scoreless first period.
First test for Guru, who's been pretty much outstanding, almost flawless so far for Starpoint. I believe he's 3-1 in his 4 starts.
Puck comes off to the near wall. A couple of players battling for possession there, Lubert and Wegrin. Niagara Wheatfield coming out of that battle with the puck, and now it's free again. Wegrin finding control of it there, but his pass doesn't connect, and that allows Alec Kirk to move it up ice for Starpoint. Passing the skates of Justin Bull, but he finds control, now tries to take a shot from the blue line, ends up bouncing off the backboards, and then almost coming right back out in front of the net. Had to be pretty aware of what was going on around him, did Jacob Amrine, but he did manage to locate that puck on the back of the net, covered it up with the glove hand. So we get another stoppage in play. 14:23 to go in the first period. Good pace in the early going, but some stoppages as well. Mainstone on for this face-off against LaGreca. Comes back to the Niagara Wheatfield defenseman, and Idzik fires it up the far side. Adam Schick's pass is behind its intended target. Now a battle for a loose puck against the near wall. Mainstone's the one that comes out of that pile with it. Gets it along to Kirk, and now both teams try to find possession as it's lodged against these near boards in front of us. Eventually it comes free to the defenseman Idzik, and he moves it up the left wing. Adam Schick getting a deflection on that as it goes into the Starpoint zone. We have an inadvertent horn going off there as play will come to a stoppage here. I think that might have been the clock for the ice time that ended up going off there, but ends up resulting in a kind of a strange stoppage in play, but I think they have everything sorted over there with the scorer's box, and we should be ready to restart things with a face-off in the Starpoint zone with 13:55 remaining in the period.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I certainly wasn't expecting it. But it was good that it didn't result in something that denied a scoring opportunity or ended up in a dangerous situation where one side kept playing and the other side didn't. It was kind of in a harmless area at that point, so it really didn't have any real effect on the game. And so no real, not too much players being upset out there as a matter of of what happened. And now we have an icing against Starpoint as the puck barely gets to the end red line. Face-off coming back into the Spartan zone. 13:35 now what it remains in the first period.
It's really been stop and go so far the first 3.5 minutes. I don't think we've seen more than 30, 45 seconds of continued play without a whistle so far.
Scrambled face-off as both teams try to find possession of that puck in between a couple of different players' skates. Niagara Wheatfield keeping it in the offensive zone as they try to put some pressure down low with Evan Belter. Plays it along behind the net, trying to get it to Coble, but a couple of different Starpoint players in there trying to make things as difficult as they can for the offensive team. Eventually that puck does come free. Coble taking a big hit there for a reward for his efforts of getting that puck loose. Eventually, Alec Kirk finds possession of it, and he circles the net on the right side before he gets a pass up to Cardarella. Cross-ice pass right onto the tape of Cyric, but he gets a big hit as he takes the shoulder from Jacob Smith right in the midsection. Now we have another horn going off. I don't know if that was over here or over on the other rink, but we have, as it did appear to be the one on this rink, so a little bit of issues in terms of some of the logistics and some of the work going on there in the scorer's box, but hopefully that'll be the last interruption we have to this afternoon's affair. We've already had a little bit of stop and start as it is with the natural stoppages on the ice. Certainly don't need that extra little bit with some inadvertent buzzers going. And
now it looks like they're actually restarting the scoreboard and the clock, turning it on and off. I guess if you don't know what the problem is, that's the only fix, right?
It is the old-fashioned manual reboot. Just turn it off, turn it back on. Hopefully it'll start behaving better in the future, and that's where we are right now as the referee over there at the score box trying to get things sorted out. Proper time is back up there, so that's a good thing. Now we have to determine whether or not the clock is going to operate as it should or if it's going to signal a horn every 2 minutes for the change for House League. That's got to be what it is. It's got to be the House League change that they're doing there.
And, yeah, it looks like the clock operator and the official are over there trying to change the setting or whatever is wrong. I saw the one red coat on the Spartan side in the penalty box. He was shrugging his shoulders both times the horn went off. So hopefully somebody knows what's going on.
All right, everybody pay attention at the 11-minute mark to see whether or not this horn goes off again to try to get the kids to change. All right, so we should be ready for a face-off here in the Niagara Wheatfield zone to the right of the netminder Amrine. Plenty of time there in between the stoppages there. You'd figure each side would have their lines sorted out, but both teams making a late change here as obviously Starpoint wanting to make sure they get their top unit out there, and conversely the Niagara Wheatfield side wanted to make sure that they got the proper line that they had to defend the Starpoint top line. And now we're back underway here as the puck comes in behind the Niagara Wheatfield net. Pass out in front from Bull as he was trying to get that one to Mainstone. Just a little bit out of his reach as he had a defender right on top of him. Puck in behind the Falcons net. They reverse course, now looking to come out this near side. Cash with the pass off the boards. Too far for his intended target. It's played back to the blue line. Gloved down by Kirk, and now he has to battle against Simon here in the neutral zone. Comes back to the Niagara Wheatfield blue line. They move it up the boards. Hit against the near wall here as Simon took that hit from Alec Kirk. 12-10 now remaining here in first period play as Starpoint moves that puck out of their zone and into the neutral zone. Larrabee has to go along his own blue line to pick it up. Can't get it out of the zone as Justin Bull makes sure it stays in the offensive end. Pass behind the net, doesn't get to its intended target. Kirk picking that one off. Got it to Bull, and he almost had a good opportunity to let a shot go there. Just couldn't quite find the handle on it to get the shot away. Icing is waved off as Dominic Lubert picks it up in the far corner. Circles the net, now has a lane here up the right side. Lubert with some room and speed into the offensive zone. Takes a shot through a screen, and he takes a little bit of a hit. Tough save there had to be made by Amrine as Lubert let that shot go through a screen. Puck in the neutral zone. Kaiser almost had an opportunity to move that one up ice as he almost found control of that one with a fair amount of speed to get behind the Starpoint defenders. Puck is then played through the neutral zone as Mainstone was trying to find that headman pass. Ends up going for icing, and we get another faceoff coming back down into the Spartan zone. 11:22 to go in the first period. Still waiting for that first goal of the game. Really only one opportunity so far, I would say, in terms of high-quality chances.
Yeah, for Niagara Wheatfield, at least one opportunity down on their end. And then just now on the save by Amrine, he did allow that rebound, so we'll have to see if that's going to be something that continues as a trend for him.
Starpoint tried to get a late change there, but officials ruling that one will not be allowed. So Muscarella comes back onto the ice and sets up his position in front of the net. Nice play there as Gavin Russell got a stick in that lane to make sure that pass didn't get across. Almost ended up with a breakaway out of the deal. Now a bouncing puck as the two number 16s try to find possession of it. Comes across, and now this is going to be Wegren letting that shot go. Looked like Lubert maybe got just a little bit of that one as Wegren was trying to fire that one through the screen. After the redirection, it goes up and over the glass behind the net and in the protective netting in front of the scoreboard. So we'll get the face-off in the Starpoint zone to the glove hand side of the netminder, Rich Carew.
And Wegren is the last guy that the Spartans want to see shooting that with a little bit of space in front of him, so they got to keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, Wegren has 36 points this season, averaging 3 points a game. That is just a staggering figure, no matter how many games you've played, and he's done it over a 12-game period, so not exactly the small sample size that you could discard as a statistical anomaly. Number 6 is definitely one of the most dangerous players in this game, as well as in all of Section 6 high school hockey. Loose puck in the neutral zone. Niagara Wheatfield finding possession of it. LaRock's pass, though, doesn't connect. It ends up hitting the referee in the skate, and then it comes back in over the blue line, so that's going to result in an offsides against Starpoint, and the faceoff will come right in front of the Niagara Wheatfield bench.
Almost a treacherous a bounce there off the official for Niagara Wheatfield, but luckily for them, Starpoint was offsides.
Going to keep an eye on here during these stoppages as both sides are trying to make sure they get their proper personnel. There's some line changing, line matching going on with this game. So not only do we have coaches that are familiar with each other, that know each other going back a number of years, but they're also going to try to play that game and get the right personnel out there to create the best advantage they can for their respective sides. Starpoint keeping it in the offensive zone there for a moment. It comes back into the neutral zone where Lubert picks it up along his own blue line. Makes a move to avoid one man. Now has some free ice in the neutral zone. Into the offensive end. Could be a 3-on-2 here for Starpoint. Lubert tries to get that shot, but just fanned on it. Second chance opportunity from Bush, just missing the net wide. Andrew Idzik into the offensive zone. Makes a move to avoid one man. Gets knocked down on the play. No penalty coming, though. As we're under 10 minutes to go in the first period, this is Cardarella trying to skate it out of his zone. Good defensive play, though, by Nick Simon, denying him that lane. Puck free on the far side. Niagara Wheatfield keeps it in for a moment, but it's going to be Cardarella intercepting a pass and coming forward 1-on-3 into the offensive zone. Tries to take a shot through the screen, but it gets blocked wide of the net. Cardarella goes for a change, and now Niagara Wheatfield with a chance to move that puck up ice. This is LaGreca with the puck on a stick in the neutral zone. Can't get much further than the center ice red line, and now Kirk back into the offensive zone for Starpoint. Had a man in front. Tried to get that backhand pass to Justin Bull just a little bit behind him. Good-looking setup there as it was almost a 2-on-1 setting up into a breakaway opportunity for the Starpoint Spartans. Puck sent down the ice. It goes off the far boards and then right in onto Guru, so no icing on that play as we're under 9 minutes to go in the first period. Now a bit of a foot race for a puck into the Niagara Wheatfield zone. Mainstone's the first one to it. Backhand shot in on goal. The rebound ended up going up and over the net. A dangerous moment there as that puck was up in midair. Now this could be numbers for Niagara Wheatfield. Wegren lets that shot go. Good save by Rich Carew as the number 2 leading scorer in all of Section 6 was coming in on a 2-on-1. Decided to take the shot himself. Carew up to the challenge, and it stays a 0-0 game.
But a bit of a defensive miscue there for Starpoint as Manguso fell down in the neutral zone, allowed Wegren to kind of get a bit of a step in front of him and once again take a shot with no defense in front of him, 1-on-1 with the goaltender Guru. So far, Guru flawless.
8:35 to go in first period play as the Starpoint Spartans find possession of it after the face-off. Breakout doesn't succeed up the far side. Niagara Wheatfield keeping it in. Now Starpoint going to try to break it out here on the near wall. Dominic Lubert with the puck in the corner. Loses control of it as Niagara Wheatfield doing a good job of setting up their forecheck. That's what they're known for, is an aggressive forecheck down low in the offensive zone. So far this shift, they've been doing an excellent job of that. They managed to create another turnover. Now this is going to be Larrabee looking to create an opportunity, but his pass ends up being deflected behind the net. Kaiser comes in from his point position to keep that puck moving. Now it comes back to the point, and then that big slap shot taken by Jason Cirillo. Not sure that puck was lying flat when he let that one go because it ended up going up and out of play into the protective netting, so we get another stoppage in play. 7:58 now remaining in the period as they go to both referees going to get a fresh puck to put into play as somebody retrieved that one from out of play. And now we're trying to determine which side the faceoff is going to be on. It's going to be on the far dot of the Starpoint zone.
Strong possession there, a couple strong chances for Niagara Wheatfield, and like you said, their forecheck really allowing them to continuously put pressure on the Starpoint defense.
Niagara Wheatfield winning the face-off and now getting things set up in the offensive zone. Kaiser lets a shot go. It got redirected late. Great pad save there by Rich Garu, as that one was about hip high before it hit something and then changed directions to ice level. Excellent save by the Starpoint netminder. Puck now in the Niagara Wheatfield zone as Starpoint tries to set up some of their pressure deep in the offensive zone. They do create a loose puck, but Russell unable to find that one. Does manage to get that puck loose in the neutral zone, allowing Starpoint to come right back into the offensive end. Reed Mariner getting it deep into the offensive zone, now putting some forecheck pressure on. Joined on the play by Jim Manguso as Starpoint now trying to create a loose puck against the far boards. Roman Adamczyk over there with it pinned to the boards. It finally comes free to Simon. Simon gets it to the blue line and just across, as Braden Allen had to just retreat into the neutral zone to pick up possession of that puck. Allen now in the far corner, one-on-one battle, as it's going to be the defenseman Kaiser winning control of that one for the Falcons. Puck comes out towards the slot. One-time shot taken by Simon as he had that puck come right onto the tape. High slot just inside the blue line. Good shot in on goal. Garu making sure that he had a good quick eye on that one. Made the save, covered up for a whistle. Niagara Wheatfield getting a little bit of the advantage so far in terms of the scoring opportunities and shots on goal here in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, certainly in the last few minutes, especially those last two offensive zone possessions for Niagara Wheatfield, probably 3 or 4 chances. At least on that most recent one, there was nobody in front of Garu, so he had a clear eye on it. Before that deflection was very dangerous.
Starpoint getting up ice quickly. 2 opportunities in front for Mainstone. Save made by Amrine. He actually had to make 2 or 3 of them there, and then that puck was free for a couple of moments. A crowd of bodies started to assemble around the crease to try to find control of that loose puck. Eventually, Amrine got the whistle. So Starpoint with a good answer there after the offensive opportunities at the other end for Niagara Wheatfield.
And Starpoint continuously going low on the goaltender Amrine and getting those rebound opportunities so far, 2 or 3 right there. And we saw that earlier in the period as well, perhaps a bit of a weakness that they're trying to exploit.
Faceoff's going to come out into the neutral zone. Not entirely sure why. I couldn't quite tell if the Starpoint defenseman engaged into that altercation around the net front. That would certainly send it into the neutral zone. Starpoint does manage to get it across the blue line again, but this is going to be Wegren moving up ice 1-on-2. Circles just inside the blue line, now cycles it down low where he's trying to find Adamczyk. LaGreca also over there. Now we have a delayed penalty coming up against Starpoint. Aiden Case touching it up over there in the far corner, and the elbowing call is signaled, and it looks like it's going to go against number 4, Joe Manguso.
And we've seen a few questionable hits or a little bit of a maybe unnecessary roughness, quote unquote, but finally one there that actually did, in the referee's eyes, exceed the limits for play, and finally a penalty coming first to the game. And you also heard there the Niagara Wheatfield crowd getting involved for probably one of the first times so far this game.
Yeah, this game's had kind of the intensity and physicality that I think you would expect with 2 rivals. That's the first one that's involved to a penalty. Now it's a breakaway in the opposite direction. Short-handed Alec Kirk, the most dangerous player for Starpoint, being given that chance alone. Good pressure being put on him from the backside by Kaiser as he made sure he got back there with as much speed as he could just to disrupt that breakaway opportunity. But at least so far here on this power play, the only chance has gone to number 5 for Starpoint as Alec Kirk had a breakaway there. Chance to make this a 1-0 hockey game. Good save, though, by Amrine. Niagara Wheatfield finding possession. Now they look to move it up ice to get their power play set up. A little bit of a delay in doing so, but eventually Kolesny gloves it down and gets that puck across ice to LaGreca. LaGreca now in across the blue line. Nice move to get himself a little bit of space on the far side. Now circling the net, back to the point to Kaiser. Kaiser to Wegren, now across to LaGreca. Good quick passing and then a hard wrist shot taken there. Looked like a shoulder save by Richie Garu. 1:20 left on the power play as Starpoint gets their clear. Making a couple of changes, getting some fresh personnel out there. As setting up behind his own net, this is Josh Kaiser. Kaiser connects on that first pass. Second one through the neutral zone. Wegren gains the blue line. Another cross-ice pass. And now Kolesny sets it up on the far side. Kolesny looking for a pass there. Doesn't see anything he likes. Now just kind of circles around in that far corner. Loose puck finally comes free and now passed out in front. Adamczyk looking for somebody there in front of the net. Nobody there to accept that pass, however, and a pretty easy clear for Starpoint is now under 40 seconds to go in the power play. Jacob Cyrek putting some pressure on here in the offensive zone. Good work there to kill off part of the penalty, maybe create an opportunity for Starpoint. Puck is turned over, though, and now back in the opposite direction. It's going to be Perry. Perry stopping on the far boards. He's got a man on him. Dominic Lubert harassing him, trying to create a loose puck. Comes along to the near side. Now 2 Niagara Wheatfield players there trying to find possession of it against 2 different Starpoint players. A little bumping there as well as the physicality continues. Comes back to the point to Simon. He's got a lane to let that shot through. Fairly easy pad save for Guru as he had a nice angle to get a good view of that shot coming in from the point. Far side, this is Idzik setting things up in the corner. 3 seconds now remaining on the power play. Starpoint has killed off their first penalty here as the player leaves the box. And now it's still being run in the offensive zone as Niagara Wheatfield maintains possession. Simon tries to get it away from 2 different Starpoint players, but the Spartans manage to get the clear. It comes to Idzik, though, in the neutral zone. He gets it back into the offensive zone to Larrabee. Larrabee's shot hits a body on the way in towards the net. Good block there by Lubert, but Starpoint only able to get it barely into the neutral zone. And then it's going to be Niagara Wheatfield bringing it right back. 2-on-1, though, setting up now. Cargarella tried to get that pass across. He had Bush in front of the net, just a hair behind the intended target. Pretty good looking 2-on-1 that was set up there in transition for the Spartans. They've had a couple of those here in this first period where they've managed to get the proper numbers set up on those rush opportunities. Puck riding the rail there on the far side. Stays in play as Niagara Wheatfield gets it into the Starpoint zone. Starpoint quickly breaking that pressure and moving it back up ice. Cargarella into the offensive end, lets a shot go and barely avoids a hit. Amrine with a fairly routine save on that one, and it stays a 0-0 game with 3:08 remaining in the first period.
And we finally get a whistle after what was probably the most extended period of continuous play we've had so far. And going back to that Starpoint penalty kill, I noticed that they had at least one of their top liners out there the entire 2-minute penalty. So not only able to kill the penalty, but actually creating turnovers in the offensive zone and scoring chances.
Starpoint winning the face-off. Pass attempted by Kirk back to the far point. He's unsuccessful, and now it's going to be LaGreca setting it up for Niagara Wheatfield just inside of his own blue line. Gets it back to Kinder. He tries to make a pass up the near wall. Wegren has to help him out and make sure that puck gets into the neutral zone, where it's going to be Starpoint finding possession and sending it right back into Niagara Wheatfield territory. Kaiser's pass connects in the neutral zone. This is going to be LaGreca carrying it into the offensive end. Tried to cut towards the slot, but there were 2 different Starpoint players waiting for him there. And that allowed the Spartans to get that puck cleared out of the zone. Now they have to play a little bit of defense again. Puck comes up the near wall. Mainstone makes sure it gets out to center ice. Now a bit of a foot race for it out there in the neutral zone. Kaiser getting to it first, denying that opportunity for Merrifield to move it up ice. And that shot coming in goes off the netting up above the Starpoint net. And so we get another stoppage in play. The back into the stop and start nature that we saw earlier on in this first period, as we have 2:18 now remaining in this first frame.
And another save there by Guru, who has been tested a lot, certainly been forced to make more saves than his counterpart. But I'd say he looks pretty comfortable in net. I don't think he's ever really been out of position so far in the first 15 minutes.
He has to make a save right there off that face-off as that quick shot came in on goal by Carson Koluzny. Another good save as he has certainly been up to the challenge as he seems to be on top of his game today. 2 more saves made by Guru on a couple of low shots as Niagara Wheatfield maybe also testing their opposing netminder in the lower part of the net. Get a whistle as the puck was along the side of the net, maybe the net barely coming off there. So exactly 2 minutes to go now in the period, and the faceoff will come to Guru's left. Bouncing puck, Starpoint gaining possession, now trying to get the puck out on the near side, but plenty of pressure over here from Niagara Wheatfield as that pass didn't come around very quickly to the near boards. Niagara Wheatfield now could have a chance in tight. Shot being taken by Cirillo as he couldn't quite keep that one down to get it underneath the crossbar. Puck is kept in at the point by Jacobs. Make sure it gets down low into the offensive zone. Now Lubert sets it up for Starpoint, trying to start the breakout again on the near side. Cargarella flipping that one through the neutral zone. That one succeeds. Cyric into the offensive end, 2-on-1. Cyric takes the shot himself. Good block there, as getting in the way of that shot was Jacob Smith. That 2-on-1 seemed to develop out of nowhere as the puck was floated over the defenseman at the blue line there in the Starpoint zone. Good play to create something, even though there's a low ceiling here in this building that makes those type of plays even more difficult. Nice success in order to get that one executed up ice. Another opportunity as Lubert let a shot go on the rush. Save is made by Amrine, and now we're down to 1:07 to go in the first period. Still no score yet here from Hockey Outlet.
And the Starpoint offense, that's pretty much all they've been able to generate in terms of scoring chances are those odd man rushes. We saw another 2-on-1 there. We've seen a handful of them in this period.
Face off to the left of Amrine. Starpoint winning control. Kirk gets it back to the point. Manguso lets that shot go. He had a screen there in front of the net and a couple of different Niagara Wheatfield players charging toward him, so might not have been the cleanest of views for Amrine, but it just missed the net wide. Players battling for a loose puck on the far side. Mainstone knocks his man down. Kirk now tries to get that pass out in front, just barely out of the reach of Justin Bull. Now it's going to be Coble into the offensive zone for Niagara Wheatfield. Coble on his backhand tries to feed that pass out in front, just behind its intended target. Now Idzik walks in from the point and lets a shot go, then knocks his man down afterwards. So this one's going to be a penalty coming up against Niagara Wheatfield, and it's going to be number 2, the defenseman Andrew Idzik, taking the penalty. He let that shot go, and it looked like the Starpoint player was coming over to finish his check. Idzik decided to finish the check for him and ended up drawing a 2-minute interference penalty. So just a little bit more than 30 seconds to go now in the period, and Starpoint's going to get a chance on the power play as they decide which side they want this face-off to be on. It's going to be on that far side to the blocker hand of the netminder Amrine.
And for Starpoint, their top 3 forwards out there, their top scorers, trying to generate a chance with the odd man.
4 forwards out here, actually, as Dominic Lubert is the only defenseman out here for this setup. Pass comes in front of the net. Good look there from Bull to Kirk, just barely missing the mark with that shot. Puck ends up coming back into the neutral zone. Almost an opportunity shorthanded for Niagara Wheatfield. Good quick stick by number 7, Justin Bull, to deny that one. Could have been a 2-on-0 alone there, shorthanded, as that bouncing puck just found the right bounce in terms of the Starpoint Spartans.
Yeah, and a little bit of trickiness over there along the boards now at the end of the period with all the snow that's accumulated in front of the bench. Kind of slowed the puck down around the blue lines and made it difficult for Starpoint to gain possession.
Still 10 seconds to go in the period. Niagara Wheatfield dumps it into the offensive zone, killing off a little bit more time in this penalty. Niagara Wheatfield quickly getting that one up ice, Starpoint quickly getting that one up ice, but unable to touch it again after it was knocked out of the air by a high stick. And that's how period number 1 will come to a conclusion. No scoring in the first period, but plenty of up and down action. Both teams coming into this one with the type of intensity you would expect in a crosstown rivalry matchup. No scoring, though, as both teams generated some chances, just unable to beat either netminder so far.
Both netminders look sharp. Guru, I think, forced to work a little bit more than Amrine. And, both teams, I think, heavily relying on their top forwards, their top lines, their top scorers. So I'd like to see a little bit more balance from these lineups as we move throughout the game, because as we get towards the end of the game, and these top players have been out for the majority of the playing time, I don't think they're really going to be able to consistently get the type of offensive chances that they want and have. And then coming out for the second, if Starpoint wants to get on the board, they have almost a minute and a half on the power play, so I think that's going to be a really great opportunity for them to come out with some high intensity like they did at the start of the game.
Yeah, I like the different ways that you can look at a matchup like this where you have both teams that boast a really dangerous first line, and obviously you can't talk about a game like this without mentioning the Starpoint top line, without mentioning the Niagara Wheatfield top line. Obviously, there's the matchup between those two top units, and you could say that this game is going to be a question of which top unit is better, but you can also make a case that it's maybe about which second unit will be able to have the advantage, because two top lines, they might equal each other out, and it might be the depth that ends up being the answer as to which team will end up having the advantage in the long run.
I completely agree, because I think both of these teams are so focused on neutralizing the opposition's top players that when they get to the second and third lines, there might be a bit of weakness, a bit of a lapse there that the offense could exploit.
We'll continue to watch that in terms of the top lines from each side and how the coaching staffs go about matching lines through the rest of this game. We're going to take a little bit of a break, but we'll be back in about 10 minutes after the first intermission for second period play. You're watching live coverage of Section 6 high school hockey on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Support for this broadcast comes from the architects at Lauer Manguso and Associates. Architecture, engineering, and design services from Lauer Manguso have earned the firm a reputation for quality and excellence spanning more than 2 decades. Support also comes from Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel. The thinking look good, feel good, play good goes into every Envious jersey design. Find them online, enviousgameware.com, to get your team a look to be envious of. And by 412 Communications, the new gold standard in digital media solutions, offering consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit them, 412communications.com, to learn how they can help your brand build bridges to the people you serve. And we're about set for second period play between the Starpoint Spartans and the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons. This crosstown rivalry game tied 0-0 after 17 minutes of play. Thank you so much for joining us for our broadcast here on the Nickel City Hockey Network. My name's Aaron Elpern, alongside Ryan Tantalo, camera operator Jeff Jazarowski as well, as we get set for second period play. And the first period, at least, Ryan, plenty of activity, plenty of action, plenty of intensity, just no goals yet.
No goals, and this reminds me of the last Starpoint game that I was at. Really well matched, a ton of intensity, back and forth, high pace, but just no goals through the first 2 periods of that one when Starpoint played Nichols. Similar atmosphere here, 2 high-powered teams that expect to contend in Section 6 this season. And I would say in the first, Niagara Wheatfield did have a few more opportunities, but goaltender Rich Grew for Starpoint looked extremely comfortable and poised in net. And then now, coming into the start of the second period, Starpoint on the power play. And I believe that if they're going to try and go toe-to-toe with this Wheatfield offense that averages 7 goals a game, now is the perfect time to start with the man advantage.
Yeah, still a minute 28 remaining on the man advantage for Starpoint, so obviously they're going to want to take advantage of the fresh ice here at the start of period number 2, see if they can get that power play set up and operating in the offensive zone. Both teams are ready to go here as we are set for period number 2. Thank you so much for joining our broadcast here on the Nickel City Hockey Network, as we're delighted to continue to bring you Section 6 high school hockey here in Western New York. Underway in period number 2, Starpoint with possession, and they're on the power play. Justin Bull carrying it across the blue line as they get things set up here in the Niagara Wheatfield zone. Frankie Cargarella here against the near boards, loses control of it, and that gives Niagara Wheatfield a chance to clear it. And now a minute 10 to go in the Starpoint power play. Jacob Cyrick going back into his own zone to pick it up. He finds Alec Kirk, and now Kirk has some speed through the neutral zone. Loses control of it a little bit, though, as he gains the blue line. Comes back to the point. Cyrick makes sure it stays in the offensive zone. Finds a pass, and he gets it along to Bull. Bull then tries to get that pass cross-ice looking for Kirk on that far post. Just couldn't quite get it to him. Kirk then taking a shot after recollecting the puck off the boards. Save made by Amrine. It stays a 0-0 hockey game. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Starpoint keeping the puck in the offensive zone, at least for one attempted clear. The second attempted clear does get into the neutral zone, and now Cyrick picks it up right at the center red line. Feeds it up to Kirk. He takes a hit against the far boards. Adam Schick doing a good job of creating a loose puck. His team then sends it into the neutral zone. Starpoint having to go back to their own blue line to start up ice again. Now just 10 seconds remaining in this power play. Pass is intercepted as Cardarella keeps it in the offensive zone. Cross-ice pass connects to Bull. Now a bouncing puck in front of the net. Mainstone tried to settle that one down just a little bit out of his reach to get that shot away. LaGreca now killing off the last couple of seconds on this power play. It's a 2-on-1 setting up for Niagara Wheatfield. Shot taken, rebound opportunity, 2 saves by Guru as Niagara Wheatfield looking to get an opportunity there just as the penalty was ending. And they had 2 different chances, but the Starpoint netminder Guru denying both of those chances. Approach 15 minutes to go in the second period as a loose puck on the far side. As both teams try to find possession, neither one of the teams able to come down with it. Eventually, though, it's Wegren floating it through the neutral zone and into the Starpoint zone. Wegren now finds a loose puck on the far boards. Backhand pass as he tries to get it to LaGreca in front of the net. Shot then taken by LaGreca as the puck bounced off the near half wall. Right in on goal. Glove save made by Guru. It stays a 0-0 hockey game, but second period play at least starting off very similar to the first. A lot of intensity, but both teams also doing a good job playing defense to deny any of those really golden opportunities.
Yeah, and the physicality on that Niagara Wheatfield penalty kill was very impressive to me. And then as soon as they got back to even strength, they came right back down, generated a 2-on-1, but a couple of saves by Guru keeps it tied at 0.
Loose puck behind the net. Larrabee trying to get control of it there and feed it out in front, but he takes a hit and loses control of it. Now Starpoint having a little bit of difficulty finding possession there in the slot. McClellan has to go back into the corner to try to start the breakout. Ends up coming back to the point. Big slap shot taken by Smith. That one misses the net wide. Ends up ringing around and back out into the neutral zone. A little bit of time now to work with as Niagara Wheatfield had to tag up there before they can go back into the offensive zone. A little bit of contact here in the neutral zone as it was Koluzny knocking his man down. Niagara Wheatfield now back into the offensive end, setting up that offensive zone pressure. Good job by McClellan to get away from the forecheck, but he loses control of it as he gets to the half wall. Now he has to go back into the corner to battle against Larrabee for possession of it. Larrabee and McClellan battling there, and eventually it's going to be Allen sliding over to help out for Starpoint. Pass is a little bit behind its intended target, but it's going to be picked up in the neutral zone by Gavin Russell. Russell makes sure it moves into the offensive zone, then he goes for a change. Plenty of room and time now for Niagara Wheatfield to move it up ice here on the near wall. Comes to LaGreca along the blue line. He's got two men on him, one in front of him and one behind with that bracketed coverage defensively for Starpoint. Starpoint ends up creating a loose puck with that as they get it towards the blue line, but Wegren keeping it in. Bouncing puck settled down by LaGreca. Tries to get it in front to Wegren, and just the stick leaving the hands of Richie Guru. It might have been what kept that opportunity from coming together in front of the net. Puck still here in the offensive zone for Niagara Wheatfield as the netminder Guru does not have his stick. It's in the near corner. See if his teammates can get that puck out of the zone for him. Allen has to get away from that loose stick as he tries to get that puck around behind the net. Getting a little bit of help from Manguso there on the far side. It comes to the point. Now this could be a breakaway opportunity for Bush. Bush has a half a step on the defender. Takes a little bit of a stick check. That's the only thing that kept him from really having a clear breakaway on that play. Good defense as the Niagara Wheatfield player made sure he didn't give up on that play. Came back hard to deny a real clean breakaway chance.
Yeah, Bush just could not quite get that extra step to get the clean shot off and went like crashing into the boards afterwards, and now he's crawling off.
Yeah, he lost a blade in the process. He ended up crashing into the backboards, and that ended up dislodging the blade off of his skate. So he has to do the little one knee up, one knee down shuffle to the bench that has become a little bit more common with the replaceable skate blades, but hopefully he can get that back and sorted as he's certainly one of the key figures in the lineup for Starpoint. Both teams making some late changes here as we're under 13 minutes to go in period number 2. Faceoff coming just in front of that Starpoint bench right outside of the Niagara Wheatfield blue line. Comes back to Aiden Case along the center red line. He dumps it in across the blue line, but then it comes right back to him. He has to chase it back down into his own zone. His defensive partner, Joe Manguso, circling the net to look to start the breakout. Back over to this near side to Case, and Case makes sure it gets out to center ice, but it's sent right back in by Kaiser. Back out to neutral zone as it's a little bit behind Mainstone coming off the far boards. Kaiser now setting it up in his zone. Cross ice pass to his defensive partner Kinder. Now he has a little bit of difficulty with a couple of forecheckers in there tight on him. And then Justin Bull laying a big hit right in front of the Starpoint bench. That one gets a reaction from the crowd. Puck just inside the Niagara Wheatfield blue line as the Falcons make sure it gets through the neutral zone. A little bit more physicality here in front of our broadcast position as clearly the intensity that we saw in period number 1 hasn't died down one bit here in the second. Roman Adamczyk finding a loose puck in his own zone. He just floats it through the neutral zone off the mid-ice glass. And now it's going to be Aiden Case looking to go D to D and set it up ice for his Starpoint Spartan team. Mainstone tried to feed it along to Kirk, couldn't quite get it to him, and now he has an opportunity to take him shot himself. That one got deflected before it got in on net. And then Niagara Wheatfield clears the zone and looks to set up some pressure in the neutral zone. Adamczyk tries to get a shot through traffic. He had a rebound opportunity, puts it home as he got to that puck before the netminder could. Roman Adamczyk gets Niagara Wheatfield on the board first. It's 1-0 Falcons.
And Justin Bull that time back-checking for the Spartans, he actually deflected the shot, which I think kind of made Guru hesitate a little bit or kind of be unsure about the way it was going to be played, which allowed the Wheatfield opportunity there.
One of the members of the Niagara Wheatfield top line that we've been talking about through this game, number 14, Roman Adamczyk, the senior, picking up his 10th goal of the season. And kind of a funky-looking play. As you said, it was deflected there on the first shot attempt, but the second shot attempt was pretty much about what you would hope to find as a goal scorer. Puck just sitting there in the crease, and all you have to do is poke it into the back of the net. That's exactly what Adamczyk did, and it's a 1-0 Niagara Wheatfield lead. Spartans looking to counter and get that next opportunity. That shot came right in on goal from Mike Merrifield. A little bit of difficulty handling it from Amrine. Rebound there was sitting for a couple of moments right in the crease. Starpoint unable to get a player to that in order to take advantage of that free puck. Now they look to create from the defense as it's going to be Allen walking in, going all the way from his own blue line all the way into the Niagara Wheatfield net. Got that shot opportunity away, but might have been a little bit too tight to the goaltender to really get what he wanted on that one. LaRock now starting it up the far side as Larrabee has plenty of room to maneuver that one up ice. Just goes ahead and passes it up ice to Kobel as he gets it into the offensive zone. This is now going to be the defenseman Idzik carrying it in as he gets control of it here in the corner. Circles towards the slot, now looking for a shot. He takes it and gets that one right in on net. Stick save made by Garou. As now a couple of players from each side try to find possession of a loose puck against the far wall. Braden Allen does a good job of finding it, but his pass is intercepted. Now a chance in tight, possibly. First opportunity isn't there, but it's the second chance put home by Jason Cirillo. 2-0 Niagara Wheatfield as that loose puck sitting free just at the top of the crease. Put home by Cirillo, and this high-powered Niagara Wheatfield offense has 2 goals on the board early in the second.
A barrage of offensive attack here for the Falcons, the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons, and their crowd is absolutely loving it. Yes, a home game for them, although they share this rink with the opposition today. And right there, forcing the offensive zone turnover was Carson Kolesny, and then just so many players in front of the net crashing in front of Garou that he just couldn't stop the attack that time.
Niagara Wheatfield's coaching staff talks about their forecheck pressure and their ability to create loose pucks down low. That was a perfect example of it there. The breakout unsuccessful up the far wall. Loose puck created ends up being essentially a 2-on-0 down low, and that resulted in the rebound, which was eventually put home. But it's pretty much a clinic on how Niagara Wheatfield likes to play right there. Starpoint now looking to get an answer as this is Jacob Cyrick carrying it up the near side. Kind of gets squeezed off into a tight area, ends up taking a hit against the near boards as the puck comes back into the neutral zone. Austin Bush dumps it in. Cyrick now putting the hunt on to find that loose puck here in the near corner. Good work to create a loose puck and to get that one free towards the slot. Manguso trying to keep it in here at the point, unable to do so as LaGreca made sure that one got through the neutral zone. Weggering creates a loose puck there in the offensive zone. It comes right out in front of the net. Adamczyk tried to quickly get that one to LaGreca in front of the net, just a little bit out of his reach, as Niagara Wheatfield looking to pile it on here in the second period as they have started quickly and gotten the first 2 goals of the game here in the second frame. Good back checking again by Weggren is denying that 2-on-1 opportunity as Bush was trying to carry that one through the neutral zone. This is going to be Braden Allen against the near wall. He gets that one out in the center ice. Mainstone moves it the rest of the way into Niagara Wheatfield territory, but it's going to be the Falcon defender there picking it up, sending it right back to Starpoint territory, but this one will go far enough for icing. So with 8:36 now remaining in the second period, it's been a quick second period start here for Niagara Wheatfield. They have both goals here in the period, and they have a 2-0 lead.
The Falcons look extremely sharp, and they've done a nice job of turning defense into offense. Like you said, a clinic in that physicality in the offensive zone, forcing turnovers. And I also think the size advantage for them and the reach advantage might be coming into play a little bit there too.
Certainly like to play a physical brand of hockey to go along with some of the offensive ability that they have. Makes sense because they have a good-sized lineup. You look at some of the bodies that they have out there. That's the type of team you don't want to play the finesse game with. You want to use that size to your advantage. They've certainly done a good job of that here in the first half of this game. And that's why they have the 2-0 lead, but they are guilty of icing here with 8:23 to go in the second period. So Starpoint's going to get to enjoy an offensive zone draw.
And I also think that size, when Starpoint is on the attack, the ability of Niagara Wheatfield to kind of pack in front of their goaltender and block the shooting lanes really hasn't allowed the Spartans to get very many high-quality chances.
Spartans giving some of that physicality back. Aiden Case knocking his man down just inside the blue line. Niagara Wheatfield, however, gets that puck up ice and dumps it into the offensive zone. Now they make a change there on the far side. So just some light pressure here in the Starpoint zone. as Starpoint connects on a long pass through the neutral zone. Mainstone into the offensive end in that far corner. Tries to feed a pass around behind the net to Kirk, but that one doesn't connect. Bull, though, finds it here along the near wall, gets that pass out in front. Puck in the skates of the defender. Mainstone knew where it was. He just couldn't quite get to it before it ended up being cleared off to the corner. Starpoint sends it back into the offensive zone as the Spartans' top line looking to get the answer here in second period play after the second Niagara Wheatfield goal. Ends up being an offsides infraction with 7:37 remaining in the second period. Both teams going to make some changes now before the face-off to the left of our broadcast position.
It's been a much quicker period so far than the first, I would say, too. Yes, we had those two inadvertent horns, but also the referees were blowing the whistle more frequently. So the pace here has been interesting to see how quickly both teams are going up and down.
Starpoint winning control of that neutral zone face-off. They dump it into the offensive zone. Joe Manguso getting it deep into the offensive end. Not a whole lot of time spent there, though, as it's sent right back into center ice. Niagara Wheatfield now trying to get that puck up ice as it's Andrew Idzik getting knocked down on the play. It's going to be a penalty coming up, a tripping call against Starpoint, as you hear the exuberant reaction from the Niagara Wheatfield fans to our right, and the less than thrilled reaction from our left and the Starpoint crowd. But it's going to be the second chance on the power play now for Niagara Wheatfield, and they're already enjoying a 2-0 lead in this one. This could be a big spot here. Certainly, if you're looking at it from the Starpoint perspective, this is a must-kill right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the worst things that could have possibly happened for Starpoint there. Besides allowing a goal, sending a man to the penalty box when you're already down 2 more than halfway through the game, and also energizing once again this Niagara Wheatfield crowd that has been on their feet for most of the period.
Yeah, it's a momentum type of issue at this point. Once you get the first 2 goals, there's automatically some natural momentum there. Tough to stem it if you're taking a penalty. There's a chance on a rebound. Comes off the backboards after Wegren's shot. Comes right to Adam Schick. Puts it in on the backhand. It's now 3-0 as Starpoint, unable to kill off this penalty, ends up biting them right just 13 seconds into the penalty kill. It's now 3-0 in favor of Niagara Wheatfield. They have struck quickly and often here in this second period.
And it seemed like it was only a matter of time for Wegren to get on the board with the amount of points he scored this season, averaging 3 a game. And then, of course, with the momentum, like we said, of the power play, of the 2-goal period, now a 3-goal period, the crowd, more than half of them on their feet for the Falcons. Electric right now, and it's going to be tough for Starpoint to battle back at this point.
7 minutes and change remaining here in the second period, and it's a quick 3-goal lead in favor of Niagara Wheatfield. No scoring in the first period, but it has been all Niagara Wheatfield here in the second. Roman Adamczyk with 2 goals here to give his team the 3-0 advantage. And now he's got the puck on his stick again. Cross-ice pass. He put it right onto the tape of Wegren. I don't think Wegren's going to mishandle that pass if he gets it a second time. Starpoint fortunate that wasn't another great opportunity for the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons. Here they go again, though, quickly back up ice. Adamczyk up to Wegren. His shot just barely missing the top corner of the net. Idzik keeps it in at the point now. Avoids one man, now has a second player to get around. He does so and gets it in front of LaGreca. Ends up just kind of redirecting that one in towards the netminder Guru. Guru covers up for a whistle. And at this point, it's just trying to stem the tide for Starpoint, as Niagara Wheatfield not only has the 3-0 lead, but they have all the momentum and all the energy in the building behind them.
All the momentum in the building and also the confidence there. You saw Wegren not hesitating at all when he took that shot. Not only coming off of a great season up until this point, but playing a great period right now, just scoring, looking for another one.
Starpoint now winning control of that puck off the faceoff, but a big hit in the process. McClellan got hit pretty hard there in his own zone, but did succeed in getting that puck up ice. Cirillo, though, finding possession of it. He brings it back across the blue line in favor of the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons. Puck comes around the near wall. Bush trying to get it up ice to Cyric. Cyric has to sidestep one hit. Now trying to chase down Larrabee for possession of it along the blue line. Starpoint has to clear the zone. That gives Niagara Wheatfield a moment to get that puck up ice. First attempt doesn't get there. Now Larrabee takes a little bit of a stick in the midsection. You heard some of the Niagara Wheatfield fans calling for the penalty. None coming, though, as the puck is now deep in the offensive zone for Starpoint. Along the near wall, Bush putting some pressure on the defenseman there, but he gets it up to Larrabee. Larrabee then tries to bank it off the near boards, but it hits the official. Now a loose puck just to the right of our broadcast position. Back into the Starpoint zone. Quickly up ice as Allen takes a big hit. This one's going to be a penalty against Niagara Wheatfield, as Niagara Wheatfield continuing with that physical play that we've seen already here today. This time it's maybe a little bit over the line. It's going to be an interference call coming up against number 19, Evan Belter.
But still, with all the momentum that the Falcons have had, it's a rare time when a penalty can still energize the crowd there. And the Starpoint side, really nothing doing so far for them. This power play is going to be extremely critical if they want to try and claw back from this 3-goal deficit.
So Belter in the penalty box taking the penalty for Niagara Wheatfield. And now we have a little bit of a conversation over there with the officials. It looked like a pretty routine call. Not sure exactly why Niagara Wheatfield needed a full explanation on that one. But this is, as Ryan mentioned, another big moment here in this game. Starpoint getting the chance on the power play. They didn't do a whole lot with the power play that started in period number 1, then carried over into the second period. This one is a chance to at least slow down some of the momentum that Niagara Wheatfield has right now, because they have all of the energy right now, and they get the clear right off the start of this power play. It ends up going into the Starpoint bench, so we get a stoppage just 4 seconds into this power play. Faceoff's going to come back into the neutral zone. I don't think Starpoint was very happy about that. You saw Aiden Case over there on the far side lobbying to get that puck deep in terms of the faceoff. Now the referees are going to talk about it a little bit. Okay, they decide they're going to go in the offensive zone. So you might have heard Coach Clayton Wilson on the Starpoint bench lobbying for that faceoff to stay in the zone. He gets his way on that one. And minute 56 now remaining here on the power play. Puck stays in the zone there on the far end as Wegren was trying to carry it out the far side. Ends up floated into the overhead netting by LaGreca as he tried to get that puck cleared. The low ceiling coming into play again here at Hockey Outlet. So the puck is then retrieved from the far side. We'll do another face-off from that same circle in the far side of the Niagara Wheatfield zone. 19 seconds gone on this power play.
And fortunate for Starpoint there, because in most other rinks, that's a clear that kills 20 or 30 seconds off.
Scrambled face-off. It comes back to the point. Case walks in and keeps it moving, but then that pass ends up hitting a skate and coming back into the Starpoint territory. So far stuck in neutral is this power play, but they might have numbers into the offensive zone. Kirk bringing it in. Gets the stick lift, though, from behind as Adam Schick took that away from him. Nobody's going to take it away from Bull as he steps into a hard slap shot, and he gets his team on the board. The Spartans have gotten their first goal in this one. It's now 3-1 as it's Justin Bull getting the power play goal on a bomb of a slap shot.
It really was a bomb, and he stepped right into that. The puck just beautifully lying flat, floated right into his wheelhouse. He wound up and shot it past the netminder. And then also, the goal is just as important, but the crowd reaction getting back in the game and re-energizing the Starpoint side with over 20 minutes to play in this game, that is also huge.
Anything really to slow down the momentum that Niagara Wheatfield had. Obviously, the goal is the best case scenario in terms of the way to do that, but just to try to slow down the way this game had been going, certainly that helps. And now they're right back into the game thanks to the Justin Bull power play goal. Loose puck here in the Starpoint zone as it comes towards the corner. This is Cash Jacobs trying to find control of it for his team. A couple of players in from each side trying to pull that puck out of the corner. Eventually it's Jacob Cyrick that does so. Goes around the net on the right side, now trying to get that pass up ice. He's got two different Niagara Wheatfield players on him. They create the loose puck, and now they take it back into the neutral zone to get things regrouped. First pass, though, doesn't connect, and now it's going to be Starpoint with that chance to get it up ice quickly. That long pass from Case to Kirk bounces off the stick of Kirk, and now it's going to be Smith getting it out, breaking it out of his zone for Niagara Wheatfield. Back here to the near side point from Starpoint. Another pass doesn't connect upon. It's sent right back into the Spartan zone. This is going to be Joe Manguso on the far side looking to get the breakout underway. He's got the puck on his stick again as he tries to get around one player. Does eventually get it away from LaGreca. Now maybe a 3-on-2 setting up for Starpoint. Manguso into the offensive zone. Drop pass, shot right in on goal. Mainstone let that one go. Blocker arm save made by Amrine as Mainstone does a good job of continuing with the play to keep it in here on the near post. Puck comes in front. That pass from Bull out to Mainstone. Then the shot coming in from the point as Manguso let that one go. Amrine had to be on his mark and right in the proper position to make the save. Puck ends up being cleared out of play in the aftermath. So stoppage in play coming up with 3:12 and running apparently on the clock right now. Faceoff will come up to the left of Amrine.
And that hit kept the Starpoint crowd in the game there, and the puck will stay down in the offensive zone for them as they try and cut this lead back down to just one.
Scrambled face-off as it's going to be Niagara Wheatfield finding possession of it and carrying it into the neutral zone. get it into the offensive zone as Belter dumps it into the Starpoint end. Cardarella's the first one to it there, and he starts the breakout up the near side. Justin Bull with the puck on his stick right now, carries it across the blue line, then takes a big hit on the play. As tracking him back there perfectly was number 19, Evan Belter. Laid the shoulder into him, but I think it's going to end up being an icing call in the aftermath. I don't think that matters one bit to the Niagara Wheatfield crowd, as they if they had any little bit of a drop in energy, it's right back after that big body check.
And that's really what you love to see, the back and forth, not only on the ice, but in the stands, especially in these crosstown rivalry games, these premier matchups in high school sports.
Just makes the environment and the atmosphere in the building that much better. There's obviously plenty of excitement to watch a game like this with two talented squads. Throw in some exuberant fans and some people making some noise. It just gets that much better, and I think the play on the ice ends up being ratcheted up a little bit more as a result. 2.5 minutes to go here in second period play. It's a 3-1 lead in favor of Niagara Wheatfield. Setting up some offensive zone pressure here as it comes out to Cirillo. Can't keep it in at the blue line as Starpoint gets that puck out to center ice. But Cirillo picking it up again, looking to come back into the offensive zone. He gets it up to Larrabee. Larrabee's shot in on goal. There's a rebound there as it hit off the pad of Guru. Starpoint, though, finding possession of it. Up ice to Gavin Russell. Russell tries to get it deep in the offensive zone. Good play by Josh Kaiser to make sure that didn't get past him. And now Kaiser carries it up ice for his team. Tries to take that shot from just inside the blue line. Lets a good, quick, hard wrist shot go. Glove save made by Guru. And he hangs on for a whistle with 2:02 remaining in the second period, as teams are now kind of settling into the feeling each other out again portion of the game, as both teams have kind of thrown their shots here in the second period, and now it's a question of which team is going to take that extra bit of momentum into the locker room. Loose puck against the near wall. Bush finds control of it, tries to get it up to Cyric. That one doesn't connect, and now it's going to be Smith picking it up in the neutral zone. He floats it into the Starpoint zone, but the Spartans find control, and now Bush carries it up ice. 2 men on him, making it difficult for him to get that zone entry properly done. Eventually, it's going to be Aiden Case helping out to make sure it gets deep into the offensive zone, where Cash Jacobs picks it up. Sends it around the far wall and out into the neutral zone. Starpoint sending it right back in. No icing on that play, as the official ruling that the Niagara Wheatfield defenseman had a chance to play it. Puck on the near wall now as two different Starpoint players set up some pressure there, trying to create a loose puck. Eventually it does come free, but it's Cash Jacobs that has it for Niagara Wheatfield. Loses control. That one is it's Bush looking to set something up in front of the net. Tried to go behind the back to get that pass out in front to Cardarella. Just couldn't quite get that one connected upon. Jacobs in the other direction lets a shot go from the top of the circle. There was a rebound there briefly before Guru covered up. A couple of players digging in there looking for that free puck. Players from Starpoint making sure they stayed away from their netminder, so we have exactly 1 minute left in the second period. Faceoff's going to come up in the Starpoint zone to the left of the netminder, Rich Guru.
And after that whistle there, just a little bit of, positioning between the two sides, and we've seen that after the last couple of whistles. With how hard Niagara Wheatfield is crashing the bench, they got to make sure that they protect their goalie.
Starpoint winning control of the faceoff. Sent around that far wall, again kind of sitting up on the ledge of the boards, as we've seen it a couple times here in this game. Loose puck in the neutral zone as we're under 48 seconds to play in the second period. Niagara Wheatfield finding possession of it here just inside the blue line, as it's going to be Coble setting up some pressure down low. Puck comes out the far side, and now it's going to be Itzik getting a shot through traffic. Hit a couple of bodies in front and then just squeaked out to the left of the net. Not sure Guru had a clear view on where that puck was going. He was fortunate that it got deflected wide. Chance in front, almost set up there for Nick Simon. He got the backhand redirection in on Guru, but the netminder making another stop. Bouncing puck now in the neutral zone as Mainstone tries to find possession for Starpoint. Taken away by Simon, though, as he made sure that one got up ice at least to the blue line of Starpoint. And now Belter diving in the neutral zone twice to get that puck free, trying to make sure that the period ends without another Starpoint opportunity. And that's exactly what's going to happen, as the Falcons senior forward laying his body out there to make sure that there was no last-second opportunity for his opponents. And now he heads to the locker room with the rest of his teammates as we are set for the second intermission and a very entertaining second period of play. We didn't have a score in the first period, but we had 4 goals in period number 2, 3 of them in favor of Niagara Wheatfield.
And we talked about this game might be a game of first lines of top players, and it certainly was in the second period for both sides. The offensive opportunities and the goals coming from the top players for both sides. And also power play goals coming for both sides. So that'll be something to look out for in the end of the game. You know, penalties perhaps coming to be a factor. And if you're Starpoint, that goal is huge on the power play to keep it within 2. If you can get another one, and then you have a chance at the end of the game only down 1 to perhaps hold your goalie. Pull your goalie. But, of course, that still depends on keeping this dangerous Niagara Wheatfield offense out of the back of the net.
Yeah, you really can't say about how big that goal was for Starpoint, because 3-0 in the way that period had gone would feel like more like 5 or 6-0, and a huge hill to climb. 3-1, while obviously they're trailing, it feels a little bit more even going into the locker room because of the way the period ended.
Absolutely. Starpoint did not back down after they got into that hole, and Niagara Wheatfield and their crowd were really into it and carrying all the momentum. Starpoint was able to pick themselves up, and they are far from out of this game.
Well, Niagara Wheatfield doing what they hope to do coming into this game. We talked about how when they're playing their game well, they set up that forecheck in the offensive zone, create loose pucks. They certainly did that, and that's how they built a 3-0 lead in the second period. Ends up 3-1 after the end of period number 2. We're going to step away here for the second intermission. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for period number 3. You're watching Niagara Wheatfield and Starpoint on the Nickel City Hockey Network. Stay tuned. Plenty more hockey coming up in about 10 minutes. Support for this broadcast comes from the architects at Lauer Manguso & Associates. Architecture, engineering, and design services from Lauer Manguso have earned the firm a reputation for quality and excellence spanning more than 2 decades. Support also comes from Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel. The thinking of look good, feel good, play good goes into every Envious jersey design. Find them online, enviousgameware.com, to get your team a look to be envious of. Support also comes from 412 Communications, the new gold standard in digital media solutions, offering consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and more. Visit them, 412communications.com, to learn how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. And welcome back to Hockey Outlet as we are set for third period play between Starpoint and Niagara Wheatfield as these two Niagara County rivals meet here at Hockey Outlet on a Saturday afternoon. It's a 3-1 lead in favor of Niagara Wheatfield as we have a very boisterous crowd here on hand as these two schools side by side in terms of the school district, so obviously a lot of familiarity, a lot of intensity with this rivalry. It's a 3-1 lead after 2 periods of play in favor of Niagara Wheatfield, and they did all the work there in period number 2. No scoring in period number 1, but all 4 goals scored in the second period. Thank you for joining our broadcast here this afternoon on the Nickel City Hockey Network. My name is Aaron Alpern alongside color commentator Ryan Tantalo. And Ryan, it was a quick burst there in second period play by Niagara Wheatfield, jumping out to a 3-0 lead.
That's right, and they did it with their top players the way they've done it all season long, with such a high-powered offense and such great scores, especially Robert Wegren. And the way that they also capitalized on the power play was extremely impressive. And at one point, getting up as high as 3-0, although Starpoint did battle back. And I'm really excited for this third period because both crowds are into it, both teams are into it. The coaches both want this win a ton. And once again, as we said at the beginning of this broadcast, this game is going to be very important down the stretch in terms of resume strength and standings.
And we certainly were expecting a senior from one of the two rosters to have an impact on this game, and actually we've seen seniors from both sides having an impact already. Roman Adamczyk, number 14, the senior from Niagara Wheatfield, he's got 2 goals in today's game. Number 7 from Starpoint, Justin Bull, he's got the goal for his team. In fact, that is his 99th point of his varsity career, so the next one's a milestone for him. I know that him and his teammates hoping it comes right here in this third period. Certainly excited to see what third period play has to offer for us here today. It's been an intense first 2 periods, Ryan, and I would expect that to just continue here into the third period. And that first 5 minutes of this period. Let's see which team comes out with that little bit of extra intensity, that little bit of extra gas under the fire. Last period, it was Niagara Wheatfield, and that's what helped them gain that 3-0 lead. See if Starpoint can answer with the quicker start here in period number 3.
And Starpoint did carry a little bit of momentum into that intermission. They scored to cut the scoring run of Niagara Wheatfield off at 3, make it a 2-goal game. And I think just one more goal for whoever scores next, one more goal really could be the difference.
It's a 2-goal lead in favor of Niagara Wheatfield, but as Ryan mentioned, the last goal went to Starpoint. Really helped them stem the momentum that Niagara Wheatfield had really going in their direction there in the second period. We're underway in period number 3. As the puck's in the Starpoint zone, they move it up the far side. No icing on this play. As a foot race into the Niagara Wheatfield zone. Mainstone's the first one to it. Doesn't get a shot away, but he draws a penalty against Idzik as Idzik tied him up, keeping him from getting to that loose puck. And it's going to be a Starpoint power play to start off period number 3. The hustle of the senior number 8, Will Mainstone, draws a penalty against Niagara Wheatfield. And now the Spartans get a chance on the power play.
Great way to start the period for the Spartans, and of course it's one of their best players getting it done there, Mainstone, hustling to the puck, drawing the penalty, and then now their top line, including the goal scorer Bull, out there, and they scored on the power play last time.
See whether or not they can replicate that effort there from period number 2. The goal scorer Bull over there on the far side sends the pass across to Alec Kirk. Kirk looking to set something up in front. He gets it to Cardarella. Shot right in on goal. Good save made by Amrine. Starpoint keeps possession. Bull with 2 men on him. Can't get that shot away. Falcons getting the clear, sending it all the way back down into Starpoint territory. LaGreca's the first one to it there as well. Giving Cyric a hard time as he tried to get that puck up ice. And now Starpoint's going to have to retreat back into their own zone before they can get it back into the offensive end. Kirk now coming up ice. He's got some speed into the offensive zone. Slows it down here against the near wall. Cross ice pass to Bull. That one comes off the far wall, though, and he's unable to settle it down. That gives Adam Schick a chance to get it out of the zone. Minute 12 now remaining on this Starpoint power play as Mainstone re-enters the zone on the far side. He's got Kaiser on him in that far corner as the two of them battle for possession up against the wall. 2 more Starpoint players join the fray, and it's Cardarella taking it away. Loses control of it, though, as he gets knocked off of it. This is a 2-on-1. Oh, unfortunate, though, as Adam Schick got kind of caught in between whether or not he wanted to play it on the forehand or the backhand as he was trying to give it back to LaGreca. Ends up being a turnover before they can get that 2-on-1 into the offensive zone. And now it's going to be Bull back in the other direction for the Spartans. Justin Bull lets that shot go, hits the defenseman in the foot as it was on its way into the net. Goes up into the protective netting along the ceiling here in Rink 1 of Hockey Outlet. So we get a stoppage in play. 31 seconds now remaining for this Starpoint power play.
And they still got those top guys out there, Bull and Kirk, with just 30 seconds left.
Yeah, that top line all staying out there. Just 2 different defensemen coming out for the last 30 seconds of the power play. Niagara Wheatfield, though, gets possession off the draw, and they send it the length of the ice. Aiden Case goes back to set up the breakout. Gets it along to Allen. Allen, though, can't connect on his pass into the neutral zone, and it's going to be sent back into the Starpoint territory by Simon. Just 14 seconds remaining on this power play. Up ice to Mainstone. He just deflects it forward, and that's going to give a chance to kill off a little bit more time on this power play. Just about done now. 4 seconds remaining in the Starpoint power play, and Niagara Wheatfield has done an excellent job of killing off this penalty like they did with the first one in the game. It was the one in the middle that got them, however. So as play continues here in third period play, 5-on-5. Alec Kirk picks it up in the neutral zone. His team regroups, and they now send it up the far side. This is going to be Mariner into the offensive zone. Tries to get it back to Kirk along the near side. Now it's back to the point to Aiden Case. He lets a shot go through, but it doesn't get through that traffic as Nick Simon got in the way before that one got past the slot. Braden Allen setting it up again in his own blue line. His pass is intercepted, though. Simon now into the offensive zone for Niagara Wheatfield. Tries to get that pass across. He had a man streaking towards that far post. Just couldn't quite get that one connected upon. Under 14 minutes to go here as Starpoint reverses it and sends it back up ice. It was redirected in on net by Austin Bush. I think he was just trying to get that one dumped into the offensive zone. Ends up being covered up by Amrine, and he just settles for a whistle, and a faceoff coming up in his own zone will be to his glove hand side with 13:55 remaining in the third.
Bit of a fortunate bounce there, just quite enough on goal that it forced Amrine to play it and cover it up.
LaGreca and Mariner on for this draw. LaGreca winning it cleanly. And now Niagara Wheatfield getting it out of the zone on the far side, but they can't find possession in the neutral zone in the first attempt. They do end up finding it with Roman Adamczyk carrying it in across the blue line. Takes a couple of bumps in the far corner. Wegren now joining the fray as he tries to find possession of it for the Falcons. 2 different Starpoint players over there as well, actually 3 Starpoint players, and they finally get possession after they battled to try to get that puck pried loose from up against the boards. Wegren, though, retreats into the neutral zone and forces a turnover. Now Starpoint's going to have to make a second attempt to get it up ice. This one doesn't succeed either as Kaiser gets into the way of a passing lane. Finally, this is going to be Gavin Russell getting it up ice. Gets around one defenseman, now along the goal line, looking for that pass in front. He had a man sitting in front of the net, Reed Mariner, just couldn't quite get that pass onto his stick. Mariner, though, covered pretty tightly in front of the net by the Niagara Wheatfield defender. Kaiser now backhands it up the far wall. Bit of a foot race for it. It's going to be Joe Manguso getting to it first and sending it up the near boards. Can't get it to Mariner. He does manage to get it out of the zone. That was a fortunate call, I believe, as that was ruled offsides along the Starpoint blue line. Looked like it might not have actually been the case, but it's going to be to the benefit of Starpoint not to have to deal with that puck coming right back into their own zone quickly. That could have been an odd man rush opportunity if that falls in favor of Niagara Wheatfield. Starpoint wins the draw. And another pass. They're trying a lot of those long passes through the neutral zone, Ryan, and Niagara Wheatfield's done a good job of denying those types of passes, at least about 50-50 on those ones. Seems that obviously the familiarity between the rosters and the way that each team plays kind of maybe coming into effect in that aspect.
And in the first period, we saw Starpoint kind of with those long cross-ice passes or those lofty breakout passes, and that actually resulted in a few odd man rushes for them. But now I think Niagara Wheatfield has caught on a little bit and shut it down.
12 minutes and 30 seconds to go in regulation as Starpoint wins a faceoff in their own zone. Mainstone now into the neutral zone. Gets a backhand pass onto the stick of Alec Kirk. Leading scorer for Starpoint dumps it into the offensive zone. Now some pressure being put up against on this far wall. Puck ends up being shot wide of the net and then hits the backboards and comes out of the offensive zone. Starpoint now regrouping before they can set up that pressure in behind the net again. A little bit of an awkward pass there, bounced in behind the net. Eventually Niagara Wheatfield finds possession of it, and they move it through the neutral zone. Simon dumping it into the offensive zone with a redirection. Now putting some pressure on that far side, creates a loose puck, but it goes into the protective netting behind the net. So we get a stoppage in play with 11:56 to go in regulation. And this third period starting to look a little bit more like the first period in terms of the amount of whistles that we've seen early on.
That's very true. It just seems like each team, they kind of bring it down, they move it around once or twice, take a shot, and then it ends up out of play or sent down the ice for an icing.
I think that might be the type of style that Niagara Wheatfield's going to be comfortable with if they're playing with a 2-goal lead. Tough to really stack up those really good shifts in a row if you're looking at it from the Starpoint perspective. Getting all these whistles, it's really tough to take that momentum from one shift to the other when so much of one shift is spent in between whistles and the icing calls.
That's very true. If it's going to be kind of a war of attrition, I think Niagara Wheatfield is very comfortable in that type of game if they're already up 2 and they just have to kill 12 minutes off the clock.
This is Larrabee and Cyrick on for this draw in that far corner of the Starpoint zone. Cyrick winning it cleanly. Now let's see if Starpoint can work it up this near boards to get that puck up ice and out of their own end. First pass doesn't really connect as Niagara Wheatfield did a good job of clogging up that near wall. Eventually Starpoint gets it up ice. Bush taking that shot from high in the zone, missing the net just above the crossbar. Cardarella keeping it moving, gets that pass down low. He's got Cyrick looking for that wraparound opportunity. Just couldn't quite get it around the pad of the netminder. Goaltender, though, doesn't have a stick right now, so we'll see if Starpoint can get any more offensive zone pressure. Niagara Wheatfield, though, manages to clear it out before they can get another shot in as the goaltender didn't have a stick. Some physicality here below our broadcast position as both teams laying the body a little bit. Puck comes up ice, and now it's going to be Bush carrying it through center ice. Gets around one man, but there's a second man waiting at the blue line to meet him. Eventually takes a third hit before he loses control of the puck. Niagara Wheatfield sending that one into the neutral zone. And now it's going to be Starpoint bringing it in just off sides. And we'll have a neutral zone faceoff coming up with 10:49 remaining in regulation.
And I think Starpoint's going to want more of that physicality like we saw in front of us if they want to kind of re-energize themselves and re-energize their crowd as they attempt to mount this comeback.
One thing that they have to be a little bit careful of, though, is that Niagara Wheatfield clearly doesn't mind playing that physical game. They have maybe the size advantage here in this matchup. So if you're trying to match Niagara Wheatfield's physicality, that could get you a little bit off of what you're trying to do in terms of puck possession and creating scoring opportunities. So as long as they balance it out there between the physicality, trying to match what your opponents are giving you, but still also managing to stick with what your game plan is to begin with, because if the physicality ends up turning into the game plan, then that's not what you're trying to accomplish as a team in general. This is what they're trying to accomplish, though, connecting on a couple of passes and then getting a shot attempt. That was Alec Kirk letting that one go, unable to get it on goal, however. But he's got the puck on his stick again in the neutral zone. His pass, though, is intercepted by Kaiser, who sends it back into the offensive zone for the Falcons. Kirk, though, breaking that pressure and carrying it through the neutral zone. He's got some time and space here on the near wall. Let a shot go as he had a little bit of a screen in front of him. Didn't look like the netminder Amrine had any difficulty seeing that one. Makes the save with the glove hand. Holds on for a whistle with 10:04 to go in regulation. Another whistle here as the stop and start nature of this third period just continues.
And Amrine there making the save with his glove, freezing it, covering it up, stopping the play, because we've seen a few tricky rebounds throughout the game, and I don't think he wants to allow many of those.
I'm going to be interested to see whether he continues to cover it up and continue to get his team whistles, as we were speculating that the stop and start might be in the favor of the team that is protecting the 3-1 lead here in this contest. Niagara Wheatfield now moving it up this near side. Pass just a little bit out of the reach of his intended target in the neutral zone. Then it ends up being deflected up and out of play. So we get yet another whistle here in third period play. It seems like only about 20 seconds of play will continue, and then we get another stoppage. This face-off is going to be coming up in the Starpoint zone to the glove hand side of Rich Garou.
So much more like the first period than the second with this nature of stop and start play. No continued attack, no continued, really momentum at all for Starpoint, which is going to be tough as they're down 2.
And that second period was much more like a track meet in comparison, and no surprise, that's where all the scoring happened, was in that second period when teams were getting that flow going a little bit more. Zone entry unsuccessful there for Starpoint as it ended up being dumped in off of a teammate. And now it's going to be Niagara Wheatfield coming back in the opposite direction. A couple of moves there on the far side as it was Belter getting himself free to get that pass out in front. Couldn't find a teammate to get a shot away, though. That shot's taken by Nick Simon as he found possession of it at the top of the circle. Kind of a spinning shot, unable to get that one on the cage. Turnover is forced deep in the offensive zone. Here's that Niagara Wheatfield forecheck again, doing some good work. Finally, it's going to be Aiden Case getting it up ice, and he finds Gavin Russell with it in the neutral zone. Dumps it into the offensive end before heading for a change. Plenty of time now for Niagara Wheatfield to work that breakout up the near side. Starpoint now getting that forecheck pressure in off the bench and now trying to create a loose puck against this near wall. Bush doing a good job of doing exactly that. Niagara Wheatfield, though, does manage to get that puck free and up ice, now putting some pressure on the Starpoint defenders in the neutral zone. Pass is intercepted. Now Kolesny carries it into the offensive end. Has it along the goal line. Tries to feed a pass out in front. He had Cirillo at the far post. Now a little bit of an awkward play there as it ends up behind Garou and in the back of the net, but the whistle being blown well before it got to that point. Looked like Garou kind of had to contort in order to get that thing covered up as it was along the left-hand side of that goal crease. Just had to kind of twist himself into a position to get that covered. He got the whistle before it ended up being poked into the back of the net. So play will continue now. 8:19 to go in the third period. Still a 3-1 hockey game.
Yeah, he was in all sorts of poses there, and I think he actually knocked the net off, which ended up being fortunate as the puck did squeak in way after the whistle, though.
A little bit more than 8 minutes to go here in regulation. Niagara Wheatfield protecting a 2-goal lead, and they built that lead all in the second period. All 4 of our goals came in second period play. Both teams looking for that first real good opportunity of the third. This is going to be LaGreca setting it up behind the net as the Niagara Wheatfield offense gets going again. Pass along behind the goal line and then quickly out in front from Wegrin to Adamczyk. Adamczyk looking for his third of the game. Just a little bit off the mark with that one-timer. Opposite direction, Mainstone into the offensive zone. Makes a move to get himself free. Gets the shot in on goal. It ends up on top of the net. Kind of trickling there along the crossbar and then stays on top of the net. It's going to be a penalty coming up on that play, however, as the push into the offensive zone and the great move by Mainstone to get himself free and get that scoring opportunity ends up drawing a penalty. Jacob Smith heading to the penalty box for Niagara Wheatfield. And number 22 is the one that will sit in the box. So this is another chance for Starpoint on the power play. as we talked about it earlier in this period, that key chances here as they get the man advantage opportunity. Don't want to let too many of these go by the wayside as if they have hopes to get back into this game and to retake the lead.
Beautiful move by Mainstone, going between the defender's legs and then getting the shot off, drawing the penalty.
Yeah, not only did he get the penalty, but he still almost got it past the netminder. I thought the penalty would be enough to disrupt him and not allow him to get the shot off, but he certainly did a good job of doing that, fighting through that hook and the penalty that ended up being called. About 10 seconds gone in the power play so far. Nice play in front of the net as it was Justin Bull looking to get that pass out in front. He had Cardarella there at the back post. Good play by Amrine to get the glove in the way to keep that pass from connecting. A couple of changes now being made up front by Niagara Wheatfield as there's a minute 31 remaining in the penalty.
Beautiful pass, getting some altitude on it over the defender's stick, and then smart play by Amrine to get that glove on that puck.
Starpoint winning the faceoff, getting their power play set up. This is Kirk at the near circle. Cross ice to Bull, and Bull looks to get it back out in front. He had Mainstone there. Looks like number 8, Will Mainstone, wasn't quite ready for that pass. Kind of caught him off guard. Maybe it was that last moment that he saw it coming. Didn't quite collect it as cleanly as he wanted to. Ended up just kind of poking it in on goal. Amrine quickly covering that one up, killing off a little bit more time on this power play. Minute 25 now remaining on the man advantage. This time it's Niagara Wheatfield winning the faceoff. They get that puck sent the length of the ice, killing off a little bit more time here on this Starpoint power play. Setting up behind his own net right now is number 11, Aiden Case. Leaves it there for Alec Kirk, and now Kirk moves it up the left side to Justin Bull. This is going to be Cardarella then on the near side as Starpoint gets their power play set up. Back to the point to Case. Now cross ice, Justin Bull at the far point. Tries to get that shot through. Good defense, though. Roman Adamczyk keeping him from getting that shot in. Now Adamczyk looking for an opportunity shorthanded. Adamczyk in the far corner. He's got a man on him. Case knocking that puck off of his stick. And now Bull looking to carry it up ice on the near wall. Connects with Alec Kirk in the neutral zone. Back across to Cardarella. Now back to Kirk. Great defense as that was Idzik getting that stick in that passing lane. Looked like he saw that play coming even before the Starpoint players saw it developing. Got that stick perfectly into that passing lane to deny that play. Mainstone now into the offensive zone. Quick passing from Starpoint. Good play. Tying him up there in the neutral zone was number 7, Nick Simon. And then I believe we have a frustration penalty coming up in the aftermath as Justin Bull ends up poking the stick out of Simon's hands and sending it away. And an interference call is being made. And I'm pretty sure this one's going against Starpoint as it was the hard back check play on the penalty kill by number 7, Nick Simon, denying Bull the shot on goal from the slot. And then afterwards, Bull showing a little bit of frustration and knocking that stick away right in front of the official. Pretty quick call being made on that interference call.
And if I'm Bull, I think I'd be frustrated too because that Starpoint power play was so beautiful passing. I mean, the opportunities that they were generating were great. The only thing was that the Niagara Wheatfield defense was just better. They knew where the puck was going to go before it went there, and that allowed them to be effective in killing that penalty. And it's unfortunate for Starpoint because I think that was some of the best play they've had all game, and it results in nothing.
Yeah, number 7, Nick Simon. Can't say enough about that play there in the mid slot. That was the player and the situation that Starpoint was looking for on the power play. Getting somebody like Justin Bull open in the high slot, a high danger area. That little bit of a half a second that Simon got there before he could let that shot away, that's all that kept that from being a golden scoring opportunity. Instead, it ends up negating the end of the Starpoint power play and makes it that much more difficult to come back in this game because 11 more seconds, it's going to be a Niagara Wheatfield power play. And we are under 6 minutes in terms of time remaining in regulation, so makes it a little bit harder of a hill to climb up for Starpoint.
Exactly. Even if Starpoint is able to kill off this penalty, they're going to have just about 4 minutes to score 2 goals, which would only tie the game. So a very tall hill to climb, especially because Niagara Wheatfield's power play has been effective tonight. Their offense has been effective tonight, and they're going to get another chance with all the momentum, as you can hear.
So 5:50 is what remains in regulation. As mentioned, in terms of the penalties, 11 seconds on the Niagara Wheatfield penalty, and then the 2 minutes on the board against Justin Bull, the Starpoint penalty here. So it's 4-on-4 for at least a short period of time, and then it's going to be a Niagara Wheatfield power play in about 11 seconds. can't say enough about the kind of atmosphere we have in the building here. Both of the bleachers here on this side of the rink are pretty much packed with Niagara Wheatfield and Starpoint supporters. This is what you would hope to see in the types of this type of high school rivalry matchup, and the play on the ice certainly reflecting the intensity here in the crowd. So the first Niagara Wheatfield penalty expires. Now this power play is setting up for the Falcons, but it's going to be a clear at the start of it. Not out of the zone, though. Roman Adamczyk getting in the way of that one. And again, he gets a shot in on goal, missing the net high, and it stays in there. Almost an opportunity for Cyrek to get a break up ice, but a good play by Kaiser to keep it in here at the near point. Minute 28 remaining in the Niagara Wheatfield power play, and they keep things set up here in the offensive zone. LaGreca along the near boards. Back to the point to Josh Kaiser. Takes the shot from his point position. Right in on goal. Glove save made by the netminder Guru. Bit of a late whistle ends up resulting in a little pushing and shoving in front of the net. Not too much more than one or two pushes, though. And now the faceoff will be coming up to the glove hand side of Guru. Minute 18 remaining on this Niagara Wheatfield power play. And again, they win the faceoff. Adamczyk getting it set up down low. Pass does not end up on the stick of LaGreca. Now comes out in front of the net. LaGreca finding control of the loose puck. Takes a shot. I think that hit a teammate in the upper body. I think it hit Wegren in the shoulder. Niagara Wheatfield, though, keeps it in. A minute to go on the power play, as now it's Adamczyk in the near corner. Leaves it there for Wegren as two players from each side dig in against the boards to try to pull that puck free. Eventually it's going to be LaGreca getting it out of there and getting it out towards the slot, but Cyrek gets in the way, gets that puck up to center ice, and then just kind of floats a backhand pass over towards our broadcast position, where number 14, Adamczyk, picks it up. Wegren now regaining the blue line. 35 seconds remaining on this power play as Wegren accepts a pass here at the near point. Redirection shot as there was Adamczyk again getting the just enough of that one to slide it from just to the left of the post to right in front of the net. Kind of ended up sliding through the crease and then ended up being cleared out of the zone as Starpoint now has 15 seconds left to kill off on this penalty. More importantly, though, 4 minutes remaining in regulation. It's a 2-goal lead in favor of Niagara Wheatfield as the last bit of their power play ticking away here. 5 seconds remaining on the man advantage as Starpoint moves it up ice. This is Austin Bush taking it into the offensive end. Gives his man a bump there and maintains possession briefly, but it's going to be Idzik taking it away, trying to get it out on the near side, but Justin Bull comes out of the penalty box, keeps it in the offensive zone. Picked up on the far side by LaGreca. And now it's going to be Larrabee moving it up ice, but his pass doesn't connect. Bull almost able to keep it in here at the near point, but eventually it's going to be played up ice by Perry. Player knocked down, but it's going to be Bush carrying it into the offensive zone. He's got a man in front. Kirk had a rebound chance, just couldn't quite get the second chance in on net. Now a loose puck as Bull tried to get it out in front of the net. Had two men on him, making it all that more difficult for him to do so. Shot comes in from the point from Allen, redirected on its way in on net, ends up going into the protective netting behind the cage. 3:09 left in regulation. Face-off coming up in the Niagara Wheatfield zone as they continue to have this 3-1 lead.
And Kirk really did have a golden opportunity off of that rebound right in front. Just couldn't quite get it on net. And some physical play, too, you're seeing from Starpoint on the forecheck. And as the game winds out, they're really emptying the tank here.
Mainstone and Larrabee on for this draw. Scrambled. Kirk comes in to pick it up. Got a man on him as he takes a bump into the backboards. Now Kirk hunting down that loose puck against the far wall. Again taking a hit as he got it free. And behind the net, this is Mainstone trying to set it loose and to get it out in front. Coming in from the point, it's Allen. He lets a shot go. There's a crowd in front of the net. Hit a body there and just ended up going wide. Puck is then sent the length of the ice by Cirillo. Ended up hitting a Starpoint player in the skate, so no icing on this play. 2:40 now remaining in regulation. Puck in a dangerous position there in the skates of Allen. He almost ended up skating it right towards the front of the crease. Cyrek now carries it up ice on the left wing, gets the pass to Mainstone. Mainstone gets around the defender, trying to find possession of it, eventually gets to his feet and gets a shot away. Not too difficult for Amrine to make that save, but impressive by Mainstone, able to get to his feet and get that shot away, as now he's got two men on him in front of the net, making it difficult for him to set up that position there, but I think he drew a penalty as we have a hooking call being signaled by the referee deep in the offensive zone, so maybe one opportunity again here for the Starpoint Spartans 2:11 remaining in regulation, and they trail by 2. They're going to get a chance, though, on the power play, as it's number 13, Cash Jacobs, heading to the penalty box.
What an incredible play by Mainstone, able to fall down onto his backside, still maintain possession, get back up, get a shot off, and once again using his hustle to draw a penalty. Hopefully this time for Starpoint, they can capitalize on it.
Yeah, if he was able to maintain his balance just a little bit better, he might not draw the penalty, but he's going to be able to get to that puck and actually be able to do something with it in front of the net. By the time he finally got to it, he really had no choice but to just kind of lean into it and fire a shot in on net. Amrine making the stop, but it is a power play opportunity now, and certainly a timely one at that. Just under 2 minutes to go in regulation, 1:50 remaining on this power play, as the dangerous Alec Kirk gets it up ice to Jacob Cyrick. Cyrick here along the near boards, drops that pass back to Aiden Case. Case across to Bull. Bull loads that shot up. Save made by Amrine, as it looked like Bull was trying to go high blocker side with that shot. One-on-one battle in the far corner. Bull then joins it to make it a 2-on-1 battle, but Kaiser creating plenty of difficulty over there, as the Niagara Wheatfield defenseman doing hard work there against the two different forecheckers. Pass is intercepted. Now a breakaway opportunity for LaGreca. LaGreca to the backhand. He shoots and scores. A shorthanded goal for Anthony LaGreca, and that should just about do it, as Niagara Wheatfield now out in front. 4-1 here in this one, taking advantage of the chance that was created in the neutral zone. Number 16, LaGreca, making no mistake on that chance. Puts it in on the backhand. It's now a 4-1 Falcons lead.
And the Falcons have done a great job all game on the penalty kill, using their bodies against the board, forcing turnovers, and then that time just a great play to move it up ice for the breakaway and the finish.
Not one, not two, not three.
Well, we talked about the top players from each team and how they would probably have an impact here on this game. Well, you look at the top line of Niagara Wheatfield, Roman Adamczyk, he's got 2 goals. Now Anthony LaGreca has a goal. And no surprise, they're a big part of why their team has a 4-1 lead here in this game, and looks to be coming out of this Niagara County rivalry with a victory here this afternoon. Still a Starpoint power play continuing here, as the Niagara Wheatfield faithful certainly enjoying the way this game is going. And it's another goal. This time it's Robert Wegren getting it, tucks it just inside the far post. It hits the pad of the net and comes right back out quickly. Wegren makes sure the referee knew that one was a goal. It's now 5-1, and again, it's those top players from Niagara Wheatfield making a difference here in this game.
And the crowd completely erupting that time. The outcome pretty much all but decided, and the crowd still on their feet cheering their squad on, and certainly some momentum that they'll carry forward as they're going to improve to 10-2-1 on the season, and a huge win tonight, or this afternoon, over their crosstown rival.
5-1 is the score now, as 2 shorthanded goals being scored here by Niagara Wheatfield. The nail and then the second nail in the coffin, I guess you could say, here in this game, as it's just a matter of the last 30 seconds ticking away now before Niagara Wheatfield can celebrate this victory.
They put the nail in the coffin, and then they buried the coffin.
I think that's a fair way to put it. The 2 nails in the coffin, that one didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'd like to have that one over again. Either way you look at it, the last 14 seconds now on the board. The Niagara Wheatfield penalty now ending. Certainly not the worst penalty to take there. They got 2 goals as they were killing off the penalty, and we'll let the Niagara Wheatfield crowd count it down to the horn. And they were a little bit ahead of the horn, but can't blame them for being excited. Certainly the team they're here to cheer for is excited, as Niagara Wheatfield knocks off Starpoint by a score of 5-1 this afternoon. And certainly an excited student section and an excited bunch of Falcons out there on the ice enjoying this victory.
And a strong, strong finish, and you could see it, the emotion, the excitement on the players and the fans.
A big win here for Niagara Wheatfield as they pick up their 10th victory of the season. And not only that, they pick up some valuable bragging rights. Both teams play here in this building at Hockey Outlet, but only one of them is going to get to brag about being the winner of the Niagara County Showdown here this year, and it's going to be the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons celebrating a 5-1 victory. Last year it was Starpoint winning this matchup in overtime, so a little bit of revenge for the Falcons here, and in pretty convincing fashion. The 5-1 win not only says it on the scoreboard, but certainly in terms of the way the game was played, they were deserving of a 5-1 win as well.
Certainly, in all three phases of the game, even strength, power play, and shorthanded, Niagara Wheatfield had the edge. They played better. They were also more physical. They had a stronger performance from their goaltender, really a wire-to-wire victory. Despite the fact that it was close for a majority of the game, I still think that the Falcons played a much stronger game tonight and came away with a deserving win.
And you can see here some of the familiarity between these two rosters. It was an intense game. It was a physical game, but you can tell that there's still a lot of respect. There's some healthy relationships. You have a lot of guys that play travel hockey together. Obviously, guys that see each other around this building plenty. Probably plenty of guys that played all sorts of sports together growing up. So a lot of players on both of these sides certainly know each other and certainly enjoy this opportunity to come and compete against their friends and neighbors. And that's what makes these kind of matchups all that much better. Is you have the intensity of that local rivalry, but also that healthy respect that's there as well, and some nice moments here at the after the final horn, pictures being taken with the teammates and opposing sides. As it's a nice little reminder of what makes high school hockey so special.
Exactly. You know, the score is one thing, but really what matters is the relationships that these players have, not only with their teammates but with the opposition, having that respect, and also the fact that both of these teams are so competitive and so talented that I think they elevate each other, which is always a great thing to see.
And certainly this could be another one of those games that will propel both teams going forward. Obviously, Starpoint's going to be disappointed with the loss here, but it could be one of those types of losses that ends up being a little bit of a motivating type of loss to kind of refocus and get ready for the rest of the season. Meanwhile, Niagara Wheatfield, obviously this is the type of victory that you can gain a lot of momentum from. They beat Grand Island earlier this week by the same 5-1 score, now a win over Starpoint by a score of 5-1. Those are the two teams that played for the small school sectional title last year. Niagara Wheatfield kind of making a little bit of a statement this week, saying we want to be there for that opportunity this year, and certainly with their two wins this week, that is a statement in that direction for sure.
Certainly, as of right now, based on those two most recent results, it would appear that Niagara Wheatfield might as well be the number one contender for that spot this year. And, you know, they've done it the way that they've done it all season. High scoring with their top players contributing with goals and assists like they have in the majority of their games this year. And that's why they've won nearly 80% of their games.
10th win of the season here for the Niagara Wheatfield Falcons, and an impressive one at that, as they move to 10-2-1 on the season. And by doing so, they knock off their arch rivals, the Starpoint Spartans, the school from the neighboring school district. And obviously, every win is worth the same amount of points, the same amount of wins in the standings at the end of the season. But it feels that much better to knock off the neighboring school, the crosstown rivals. So I'm sure there are going to be a lot of very happy Niagara Wheatfield players and fans here today as they enjoy a 5-1 victory here from Hockey Outlet. Certainly appreciate you joining our coverage here on the Nickel City Hockey Network. We're going to step away here for just a moment, but come back here in a couple more moments to wrap up our broadcast from Hockey Outlet. Support for our broadcast comes from the architects at Lauer Manguso & Associates. architecture, engineering, design services from Lauer Manguso have earned the firm a reputation for quality and excellence spanning more than 2 decades. Supporters also include Envious Gameware, designers of high-end custom hockey uniforms, bags, and apparel. The thinking of look good, feel good, play good goes into every Envious jersey design. Find them online, enviousgameware.com, to get your team a look to be envious of. And our supporters also include 412 Communications, the new gold standard in digital media solutions, offering consultation for web and graphic design, social media, writing and editing services, multimedia solutions, and much more. Visit them, 412communications.com, to learn how they can help your brand build bridges with the people you serve. "5-1 is our final score here from Hockey Outlet. Niagara Wheatfield picking up their 10th win of the season and doing so in pretty convincing fashion here with a 5-1 victory over their crosstown rivals, the Starpoint Spartans. Goals scored, 2 goals for Roman Adamczyk. Also goals being scored in that game by Jason Cirillo, Robert Wegren, as well as number 16, Anthony LaGreca. The 1 goal for Starpoint coming from number 7, Justin Bull. Our next broadcast will be Wednesday afternoon as Starpoint travels to take on Grand Island. That game is a 4 p.m. start, so be sure to have your web browser set up and ready to go here for the early 4 p.m. start. It's going to be Starpoint at Grand Island from Hyde Park, and we'll have live coverage right here on the Nichols City Hockey Network. It's going to wrap things up for our broadcast here from Hockey Outlet. For color commentator Ryan Tantalo, camera operator Jeff Jazarowski, my name's Aaron Elpern. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.